information that I'm going to relay to you, and then we're going to go into this spread, okay? So, first of all, I almost have this overwhelming need for you to, to remind you to slow down for this month. And I feel like the slowdown is for you to focus a lot more on your financial future and to do things, especially if those are you who are planning vacations and things like that, be very, very careful that you have a viable budget. Be careful about, not spending outside of your means. And especially if you are traveling with a partner, be careful not to sort of like, how couples travel together, you might blend together or you might share a budget. Just be very, very careful that one person is not assuming that the other person will cover the expenses, and whether that's coming from your end or from their end. Just be very careful about that, okay? Because I feel like it's going to create a little bit of an emotional rift between whoever it is that you're planning to travel with. So careful about that. So the slowdown then is for you to really sit and reassess whether or not things are balanced out, okay? And you're very, very sensitive to imbalances in partnerships, in friendships, in work environment. And so this is the time where it's not so much about other people, but re-examining where we might have taken other people for granted, where we might have I guess like relied on other people too much and not doing our fair share of the responsibilities. That's not for all of you, but I feel that is important, especially for some of you who might have recently had squabbles in your relationships or have recently broken up with somebody. It's forcing us to re-examine some of the things that we have done in the relationships and where we can, not make the same mistakes the next time around. The other message I'm getting here, and this is the second message, I'm getting some news regarding health, okay? So some of you might be either visiting like a doctor, a dentist, or, doing some health checkup. And I feel like, a clean bill of health. And then others of you, there might be news regarding health or problematic news regarding health as it pertains to somebody that you are close to. So I feel like there's going to be something here triggered by that. And while you are emotionally worked up over it for the other person, they're taking it in strides, and I feel like they're not stressed out or frazzled over it. And so I feel like if it's somebody close to you, you're constantly calling them, texting them, or emailing them, or messaging them, asking if they're okay. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of delays when it comes to communication because emotionally they're trying to handle it their own way. Okay, so it's a little bit frustrating, but I feel like you need to just take a step back and step away from that communication because they're trying to sort things out emotionally from their end. The third message that I have here is I feel like it pertains here to your career sector and also finances, okay? And they are saying as well, I'm sensing like it seems like you're at a time in your life where you're not able to have, to make traction in your career, to not have that disposable income that you're looking for. So I feel like there's an element of instability regarding where you're at, where you're headed in your career track. And it almost feels as if there's a little bit stop and go type of energy. And it just feels like you're not in control of your work situation. And so what they are saying as well is that while you're dealing with this, it's a little bit frustrating. And it feels like you might be working under somebody who is a little bit unpredictable. Changing priorities, changing tasks, and you have to be very quick on your toes in order to switch from one project to the next and things like that. And so I feel like, you're just questioning whether or not this is something that's viable for you long term. And they're saying that to keep at the work environment, things are going to smooth themselves out. So keep working at it and don't doubt whether or not this is something long term, because I feel like right now it is something that's good for you for the time being. Okay. And further down the line, some of you might switch your jobs altogether, whereas others of you, you might also feel like the safety and comfort in already having this job. And so you're not looking elsewhere. But I feel like either way, for right now, it is okay to just, try to get through it. Okay. Okay. So, like solid opportunities, more stable opportunities for right now, this is where you're meant to be. And so do things to the best of your capabilities. Make sure your responsibilities are taken care of. And then, don't have that concept of, the grass is greener elsewhere, and start, I guess, drifting off into, daydreaming about where you want to be, where you could have been. Like, that's always nice, but I feel like the responsibilities need to be taken care of right now, and this is where you're meant to be for now, despite the frustration, despite the stop and go type of energy, okay? So the last message that I want to leave you off here before we go into the spread, I'm sensing as if some of you have recently ended a relationship. And I'm feeling there was some type of deception and lies associated with that, okay? So lack of clarity when it comes to communication, hidden information as well. And I feel like this is something that might be, I feel like the relationship itself, when it started, there was a clear lack of compatibility. And I'm feeling as if one person was pushing the other person for more. One person was like steering the relationship, and one person feels like they're more emotionally invested. And like I mentioned before, you are very sensitive when it comes to imbalances in the relationship. And I also feel as if oftentimes, I feel like your partner, so whoever that past relationship partner was, your partner is somebody who's very like, they're very easygoing. They're very, very easygoing. And the relationship seemed to me like, despite the lack of compatibility, I feel like the relationship was quite smooth. They're very grounded, very stable, quite reliable. And I feel like some of you felt very bored in the relationship, and you were looking to spike things up, or to reignite the spark in the relationship. And I'm sensing that some of you just felt bored, and you might have, looked at other dating opportunities as well. So whichever way that goes, I feel like a relationship recently ended, and I feel like taking ownership of, how we, like what we did, what the other person did, and how we both contributed to the falling out of that relationship. I feel almost like there are important things, lessons that you're confronting for this month. And the deeper you dig, the more like you're willing to accept ownership and accept responsibility, the easier it's going to be for you to find new relationship partners, as well as achieving better harmony in your next relationship. So that's something very important, okay? So aiming for relationship partners that are a lot more stable versus the relationships that bring about a lot of drama, a lot of excitement, but lack of dependability or stability. That's where you're still grappling with these things. So I feel like there's a major, it feels to me as if you're going to have to be very, very honest with yourself as to what you're looking for from other people. And you're going to have to be quite honest about, um, if it's just fun and excitement that you're looking for, I feel like you also have to emphasize that to a prospective relationship partner or to a current relationship partner. so that both parties are on the same page, okay? Because I feel like, it's very extreme for some of you. In some relationships, you feel like it's a little bit stagnant and a little bit boring. And then you also might be attracted to somebody who is not appropriate for you, but there's that strong sense of chemistry that you find very difficult to you find very difficult to turn down. So be very careful about that, okay? So let's go into your reading here, and let me just talk about your career and finance sector. So first of all, we have here the money house. So this is the second house. We have here the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands basically indicates a situation where we are pretty much, sitting pretty, having a lot of responsibilities, managing other people, taking care of things, and not having to get our hands dirty. Okay, so a lot of you are in a position where you're either working remotely, you're handling people from afar, you're only called in whenever there's like, massive problems, and you're gonna have to do some damage control. So I feel like you're in a very upper tier type of a position, and you can affect a lot of positive things in your work environment. So this is a card about, gaining all the expertise and all the necessary skills so that you can do your job well. There is a natural flow in the work environment. And I do sense some of you are thinking about as well long-term financial, earnings. So you might be kind of like on top of your career, and you're thinking about where you can excel or where you can move yourself to, or in which direction your career is going to take, so that you can increase your income generating potential. So I'm seeing a lot of people right now who have already learned everything there is to know about their jobs. So they're kind of like in the zone at work. And so there is a sense of a little bit of boredom about you, and you might also be looking for other, other positions that are opening up internally, like higher positions, higher salary, higher pay, or you might even be looking outside of the company. But either way, I feel like there's a little bit of a boredom type of energy about you, where you want to learn something else. You feel like you're already the top of your career, and you want to move ahead. And I'm sensing that there's a lot of trust coming through when it comes to your supervisors or your boss or whoever it is that you're reporting to. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of mentorship. And there's almost this sense of like forgiveness, whatever you do, I feel like your supervisor, your boss understands what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. And so they're giving you a lot of leeway. They're also very hands off as well. They don't micromanage, and they leave you to your own devices. So I feel like, you're in a really good position right now. There are certain days where I feel like you feel like you want to branch out, and you feel like you're kind of pigeonholed into a specific niche in the labor market. So you want to expand your skills a little bit, and you want to learn some more things so that you can get yourself into different position, or even thinking about transferring, even thinking about traveling to a different environment altogether. So there is I'm almost sensing like a fantasy about you, where you're just like, I wish I could, go live in this city, go live in this state, go live in this country. And you know that physically it's doable, but it's not entirely realistic right now. So I see this daydreaming mode about you in your work environment. At the same time, I do feel like there might be some, be very careful about your car, okay? Especially if you are commuting for work for this month, be very, very careful about your car. Using your vehicle to commute to work, just make sure everything is checked up, and be careful about driving on the road. I do sense something, it's like inclement weather, a lot of rain, a lot of hail, or just some weird weather patterns. So just make sure you check your vehicle, bring it in for inspections, and drive very carefully for this month. The second thing coming through, and I'm going to go back to the relationships. For those of you who are socially dating, who have met somebody new, you're not exclusive yet, what I have here is this, the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups in the reverse basically indicates a situation where we are, excited about a new person, but innately we know that there is a lack of compatibility at the foundational level. There's a lack of compatibility here. Different life experiences, different upbringing, different value system. And I feel like, this is somebody that you have recently met. And I feel like it might also be somebody you're meeting through mutual friends. So you might have mutual friends and you automatically gravitate towards each other, or you find each other in that way. But as you get to know each other, you might not have very much in common. And I feel like it might be a water sign for some of you. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And I'm feeling that the attraction is there, but I'm almost feeling like, lack of compatibility, lack of mutual understanding, having difficulties figuring out where the other person is coming from, and they likewise have trouble figuring out where you're coming from. So be careful about this energy. It seems like, it's the opposite attract types of energy is very strong. It brings about great chemistry. It brings about, really intense flirtation and really intense physical attraction. But I feel like something, the innate compatibility is missing here. So you want to take this very, very slow. Okay, so don't make any commitments yet. Just take it very slowly. And further down the line, I do feel that you might not, because the attraction is strong, but because of that lack of compatibility, you might not want to form a relationship with this person. So in your seventh house relationship sector, we have here the Magician. This is somebody who acts like, they're single. So this is what I classically call like the bachelor or the bachelorette, whoever you're dealing with. I feel like somebody has a little bit of a commitment problem. They love their independence a little bit too much. And I feel like they're somebody that has a lot of suitors, has a lot of people on their plate, has a lot of projects, have a lot of things going on in their lives. Very, very popular as well. And so this energy is telling you to be a little bit careful when you're dating, because what you want out of the relationship is not matching up with what the other person wants. And honestly, Libras, I feel like it might be that you're not ready for a relationship and the other person is, or, vice versa. But I feel like it seems to me like, with a lot of dual signs, and this is Gemini, Libras, Pisces, with a lot of dual signs, I feel like you want a relationship, and you might take the fact that, oh, I want a relationship for granted. And so you go out into the world dating people and too eager and too willing to fit that person into your relationship sector, and you're kind of blindsided. You might not choose the right people that are appropriate for you. So that's the same energy that I'm feeling here. And then others of you, I feel like you want the closeness, the intimacy in that relationship. You want somebody to, have share like your new experiences with, but you might not be emotionally ready to invest exclusively in one person. So it's really important for us to be very clear about our intentions when we're dealing with another person, because I feel like you might potentially, end up hurting the other person. So be a little bit more sensitive to what is necessary, what's needed to maintain a relationship, and, be very clear about your intentions before you make promises, okay, for this month. And, the energy is going to flow both ways too, but I feel like this needs to be said because this energy, I feel like it's coming through in the spread, okay? So having said that, that whole concept about re-examining the past and thinking really clearly about why the last relationship ended, and who did what, and all of those things. Really sifting through, fact from fiction, so that you can come to a better understanding as to, why the other relationship didn't work out. Okay. So if you have recently ended a relationship, I feel like you are single here. Other people are telling you to date, and you're just like, no, I'm not ready. I'm still recovering from that past relationship. So I'm just going to play, just be single for now. So the opportunities are for dating, for mingling is around you. But I still feel like there's some hang up from that past relationship where I'm seeing guilt here. I'm seeing guilt coming through in this spread. And I'm also seeing like a lot of excitement, a lot of chemistry, but lack of compatibility. And as a result of that, you're grappling with what you know, which is there's no compatibility, versus what you feel, which is the chemistry, that really strong romantic vibe, that really strong, it's like passion in that relationship. So what you feel versus what you know, that's a little bit more difficult for you to get over, I feel. So I'm gonna go into your relationship sector in a little bit, but they're just telling you to slow down overall for this month. So if you don't feel like you want to socialize, if you don't feel like you want to go out and make new connections, that's perfectly fine. And I feel like you know yourself best. But I feel like the energy here is just, coming to terms with what's appropriate for us and what's not. That's going to be really important for this month, okay? I'm also sensing some of you are taking your responsibilities a lot more seriously. So especially for those who are on the younger end, okay? And younger, I would say like 35, below 35, 35 and below. So whether or not you're still in school, I feel like you're taking care of your practical responsibilities, setting aside money, trying not to be late on your credit card bills, try not to be late on paying off student loans, trying to do things in a very diligent manner. I feel like they're day ahead of the game, how you can take care of things as they creep in. So you're doing a lot of planning. You're doing a lot of just, growing up when it comes to taking care of paying the bills, buying books, sacrificing emotional spending so that you can have that extra money to for a rainy day. And I feel like it's a little bit challenging, but you're making good strides, okay? So don't don't steer away from, or don't like so stick to that budget, okay? And even if for some of you who are traveling, I just keep seeing this boundary thing when it comes to traveling. A lot of you might be planning a trip. You might be traveling with another person, or some of you are traveling with a romantic partner. And I'm feeling like there's going to be problems when it comes to finances, because one person expects the other one to fill in the gap. It's like to automatically, foot the bill. And I feel like there's something unwritten, unspoken here, and the other person is going to feel a little bit resentful. Okay, so having that clear budget if you're traveling, that's going to be really important for this month. In your housing situation, what I'm sensing is this. I feel like geographically. So let's just say for some of you, you might live. So those of you who are not in a city center, you might live kind of like on the outskirts of town, a little bit further away from the main population cluster, a little bit further away from all the restaurants, all the nightlife scene. And I feel like, your friends are trying to reach out, telling you where to go and telling you to meet them and telling you about, this and that they're doing. And you feel almost like it's an inconvenience having to go out of your way to get to where things are happening, to get to where people are congregating. And so you might have, turned down a lot of invitations in the past, And a part of you feels almost as if it's not fair that I always have to, commute out of the way to meet them. Why don't they come to me? And so the problem then lies in the fact that maybe we should open up our place, our house, or apartment, or condo, open up your place of residence so that the opportunities for fun, excitement, socializing, and meeting up with friends, so that the people come to you. So I feel like that's going to solve a lot of your problems, and it feels to me like it's a very mundane thing to bring up, but I feel like there might have been some imbalances here about constantly having to go out of your way to connect with friends, and you don't see the effort being reciprocated. And so they're saying, like, it is an exchange of energy, and you need to make yourself available where you're at and see if they want to meet you there. Okay. So social relationships overall, they need to be somewhat sorted out, balanced out, because I feel like you might have lack of compatibility, a lack of compatibility with the people that you're socializing with, hanging out with, trying to connect with. There's just overall, you might have drifted apart, you might have grown apart, because it feels like they're not entirely sensitive to your needs, and they're not the types to, just want to reach out and have heartfelt conversations with you. They might just want to go out all the time and not have to interact heavily. So you want to really reassess the friendships as well, to see if they give you that emotional satisfaction, or if there's that emotional fulfillment from your friends and from the activities that you're doing together as a group. Okay. So the career looks very, very good. I feel like there is going to be a lot of support coming through, and I feel like it seems to me as if, well, we have this card here. We have the Chariot in your work sector. So this is more of like a lull, a little bit of a slowdown as well. And what it's saying here is that this is not going to be, like a forever thing. It's going to the energy, as well as figuring out how you can upgrade your skills, or even, where you need to be so that you can. I feel like some of you are in a flow state of mind when you're like in a work environment. So you already have learned all the skills. So think about where you can apply your skills, and think about where you're headed next, so that you can increase your income generating potential. So that might even be, getting in touch with other companies in the same industry and see if they have an opening. That can be doing online job search just to see what's around you. And this is a little bit of a slow month, I feel, in the work sector. So it might be a good time for you to, branch out and dabble a little bit, okay? Relationships. I feel like the imbalances from there, it needs to be sorted out. And so the slowdown when it comes to your responsibilities overall, I feel like you need to divert this time to work on your relationships and try to figure out, where the weak links are, so that you can do some damage control, so that you can, re-strengthen your relationships, okay? And that is relationships with family, relationships with friends, and love relationships as well, or even people that you're just casually seeing, okay? So spending more time in that, I feel it's going to be good for you, okay? So I'm going to go into your love reading here, Libras, and see what's in store for you guys. So I'm going to leave that card out, and it's going to provide us a transition into the second part of this reading here. So what's going on for Libras? Love, romance, relationships. I don't know why the cards are just flipping left and right. Okay. So I did the reading for Virgos, and they have this same card in the same position. So you might be in a relationship with one. You might have that is strongly aspected in your chart. And let me just go through the spread here. So let me try to make sense of this. It feels to me as if for some of you, you're waiting on something in your life, like a cycle to complete before you start dating. That's what it feels like to me. Some of you might be students. You're heavily focused on your schoolwork and you don't want a distraction, which is great. And then others of you, I'm seeing this energy strongly. It's almost like relationship is out of your control because your parents might be the one who chooses the person for you. And then others, I feel like you feel like, oh, relationships are a lot of work, so I'm not really sure if I want to invest the time. So it seems like you're I don't want to say like the blockage is coming from you because I feel like you're doing it for valid, legitimate reasons. And then others, I feel like the relationship sector, you feel like it's outside of your control. Parents might have a more of a your parents might be planning who you're going to get engaged to, who you're going to marry, and so you're leaving it in their hands, okay? So let me just talk about this. A lot of you are in a relationship here. We have a water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, or a Scorpio. You're in a relationship with this person. There's very, very strong attraction, a very strong, this is here the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups basically indicates a very strong soul connection where two people see the best in each other and two people care about each other, not just as lovers, but more like, you not only love each other, but you like each other as friends, as companions, and you really do see the best in each other. And it's linked up with this water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is the Queen of Cups. Someone who's very caring. They're not status conscious. They don't hold grudges. They don't keep scores. They just care about the other person and wants the best for the other person. You're with somebody who is very, very, very generous. I do see an element here about some of you feeling as if you got into the relationship with this person when you were too young, when you didn't know enough about yourself. And I also feel like they likewise got into the relationship with you when they were too young, when they didn't know better. Or not that when they didn't know better, but it's almost like somebody feeling as if it happened too soon. We've been together for too long. And I wish we could have, experimented a little bit more to find out what it is that we're really after or what it is that's appropriate for us. So some of you are dating this person right now. Things are going really well. Even though there might be, like wanting to like explore other options from your end or from their end. But overall, it is a very, very stable relationship. Others of you, this person is in your past and you have children together. And this person is I feel like this is a really solid, very good person. They have a good heart. They're a great mother or father figure. If you have children together, I feel almost as if, the children are saying, why aren't you and dad or mom together? Why aren't you guys together? We want you to get back together. And so there's this element about, feeling like this is a situation outside of your control. You might have gotten together when you were too young, and the relationship didn't work out that time. Whenever the relationship ended, it didn't work out because you were too young. You both didn't know how to navigate each other's energy, with the children in the picture, with the stress of work, with the stress of everyday life. The relationship kind of fell apart, but you still have a great deal of respect for this person. And I feel like some of you are longing for a chance to reconnect, or even to, maintain that friendship bond between the two of you. In the past, I have here the Sun and the Six of Swords. So both of these cards are in the reverse position. So first of all, the Six of Swords is a situation where we keep re-engaging with somebody in conflict, okay? And it's not a conflict-ridden card, but when it's in the reverse position, it's almost like going after something, and we know that it's going to cause a lot of strife, or it's going to be quite turbulent, okay? So returning to a turbulent time in the past, and this is already in the past, as well as the Sun, it's like re-engaging in the same thing over and over again, knowing that the outcome is not going to be in our best interest, okay? Trying to reach out to somebody that is very stubborn is what I'm feeling. Trying to, follow somebody, or being attracted to somebody who is a little bit more like just on the selfish end. They're a little bit more self-absorbed, and they might not appreciate you guys the way that you want to be appreciated. So I feel like in the past you got into a relationship where the other person could not reciprocate your feelings. They're a little bit more self-absorbed. They themselves might be the bachelor or the bachelorette. They don't want that commitment, and they made it very clear as well. With this in the reverse position, it's sort of like the smoke and mirrors. What you saw with this person was not what you got. And so there might have been some type of like misleading information, deception, and things like that. And no matter what, you still like willingly forgive this person. And you try to, it seems to me like the chase. They're not looking for a relationship. And with some people too, when someone is not looking for a relationship, it's like the thrill of the chase, the thrill of wanting somebody who's almost unattainable. So be very careful about that tendency, okay, Libras? Which brings us to the present moment. We have here the Emperor as well as the Seven of Wands, and I feel like this, first of all, I feel like some of you are, like I mentioned, that massive growth spurt where you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to, this card, it's a really powerful card, mainly because in a relationship, it basically means that we have to, just by default, we have to make the right decision. We have to do the right thing. And the right thing involves, many people. So it's not an easy decision. But we have to come to the point of enlightenment where we make the decision that is best for everybody involved, and not just to fulfill our, to gratify ourselves or gratify a specific person. So this is a card about knowledge, growth, maturity, okay? And I feel like sometimes for the who loves you a great deal, but for some reason you don't feel the same level of excitement in the relationship. And so you have to really make the right decision. If you're not in love with them as much as they are in love with you, you have to let them go so that they can find somebody else, okay? And likewise, if you're in a relationship with someone and there's temptation, or if there's like trouble in paradise, try to work things out. So this is like making the harder decision so that everybody involved can be happy, so that we can, operate from a higher space of consciousness and we do the right thing. So you and Virgo both got this card in the same position. So it basically indicates to me as well that, you're, especially for those of you who are right on the cusp between Libras and Virgo, you might be confronted with this energy. And we have as well the Seven of Wands. This is kind of like standing up for ourselves, sticking to our beliefs, even though other people don't agree with us, we're still going to do what we want. So once again, if you are with somebody, right, and your friends know, like, if somebody from your past has constantly um, like reeled you back in, and you're telling your friends about this person. Your friends all know the history, the ins and out, the years that you've dealt with this person, and for some reason there is a communication with them, or they're reaching out, and your friends are just like, no, don't do it. And I feel like deep down you know that they're right, but deep down you want to give it another try, mainly because the attraction is really strong. So I feel like you're going to be in a position where you have to confront or defend the things, the decision that you're making. And keep in mind, relationships, honestly, it's between two people. And whatever you feel in your gut, just go with it. The fact that we oftentimes feel like we have to defend what we're doing, we have to defend the relationship, basically means that deep down we might not believe in it as much as we preach. Okay, so I feel like there's something here about your friends telling you not to go for it, or your friends interfering in your relationship, and that's not where they belong. And so clear out this need for input. You have to make this decision on your own. And whatever decision you're making on your own, stick with it, because this is coming from it's coming from a higher space, okay? And so don't rely on other people for advice, for input, and even for like guidance when it comes to a relationship decision, because I feel like you already know what you need to do. And using them as a sounding board, I feel like that's all it is. It's just a sounding board to confirm with you, but they might not agree with you. And so that's going to throw further confusion in the mix, okay? So it's a time for you to make this decision unilaterally and try to do the right thing, okay? Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. And we have here the Four of Coins as well as the Page of Cups. So I just keep seeing this water sign around you. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And the Four of Coins is sort of like we're clinging on to something because we're afraid of losing it. I feel like some of you are looking at a relationship, and possibly with the water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You really care about this person, but I feel like the love and the devotion is coming in a lot stronger from their end. Okay, so I feel like this relationship, because of the love, because of the dependability in the other person, it feels almost as if it's a security blanket. You're afraid to lose this person. And I'm feeling like some of you are having this ethical dilemma where the other person loves you a lot and you have a really strong history together. But whether or not you are 100% in love with them, that's another story. Okay? So, like I said, doing the right thing. If you can honestly tell yourself that you love them and you can see yourself, together for the long haul, then by all means, stay in the relationship. But I feel like the love might be dwindling from your end. That's what it feels like to me. Which brings us into the future position here. We have the Ace of Coins, and the Ace of Coins is basically the beginning of a relationship that has a lot of potential. Some of you are single, moving away from this person, but really thinking about them and thinking about, how you could have done things differently to make that work. You're moving on to a new relationship, and there's still some hesitation and trepidation between the two of you. You might be shifting into an earth sign, so a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And you might have, taken some time off from dating. This person just automatically comes into your life. They seem to me to be very financially stable, but I do sense that I feel like it has a lot of potential to work out. However, um, whatever you were used to dealing with, the previous person, the love was very unconditional, very, very strong, and you feel it. You feel it that they're very devoted to you. And with the new person, they're very guarded and they're very cautious. So it's going to be difficult for you to it's difficult to take this person for granted. Okay, it's going to be very difficult because they want you to contribute. They want you to meet them halfway before they're going to open themselves up, before they're going to give you anything. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who is completely different from the ex, where the love might have been very unconditional. So here's the thing, Libras, and I feel like I'm getting a better grip on this reading after, the cards all came out. So here's the thing. I feel like a lot of you are transitioning from a water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, very loving, into an earth sign. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And the strategies with dealing with both of these people are not going to be the same. However, you're going to realize for this month, strategies when it comes to love relationships are actually all the same. So we have to tweak our communication depending on who we're dealing with. We have to tweak, we have to get the balance right between what we're doing and what they're doing, and how to, connect with each other on an emotional way. However, the thing here is that you have to be very, very careful about the balancing out that relationship so that it's fair and that the other person doesn't feel like they're taken for granted, and you yourself don't feel like you're taken for granted. So I feel like it's a very delicate balancing act if you are dating somebody new, trying to make things work, because this person is not going to be the one that jumps in and does everything. They hold back a lot. They're very, very cautious. They also don't lose themselves, don't get swept off their feet. They're not swept away in new relationships. They are very secure and grounded, and they know themselves. And so, because of that, it's going to take some time to get them to really open up. Okay, for those who are single, I feel like it's going to be better for the singles. Stable relationship partner, you've got a really good partner here. But I feel almost like I feel like they're waiting for more of a gesture from your end about how you feel about them. It seems like they're very open and candid, but I feel like they're wondering where you're coming from. They're wondering how you feel about the relationship. And then singles, I do sense here new relationship prospects, okay? But that's contingent upon you making yourself available, putting yourself out there, etc. And so I do see a very strong link here with Virgos, okay? So if you're in a relationship with Virgos, Virgos are known as, the picky people, the perfectionists. And Virgo people, they work really hard to I almost feel like to artificially create romance in the relationship. They really try, and when they try. They really try. They try to keep the romance alive. They try to do, very romantic gestures. And so if you start to see these things, it's indicative that they're really trying hard, okay? So don't take your relationships for granted. Be very, very clear about your intentions here, all right? Is in the description box below. If you would like to donate to the channel as well, it is greatly appreciated as always. The link for that then, and I should have the mid-month reading published by then, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.